Hi, I'm Victoria Loorz, the author of Church of the Wild, How Nature Invites Us into the Sacred. And the reality is the sacred invites us into nature, and that's the way it's meant to be. But our spiritual practice, at least I can say my spiritual direction practice, had not included this as part of my relationship and spiritual direction. But the reality is we are deeply interconnected with not only one another as human beings, but one another as beings on this alive planet. And the deep disconnection between our spirituality and the rest of the natural world is at the root of a lot of cultural, personal, and global problems. The most obvious is as we disconnect from the rest of the natural world as sacred, we can then abuse the other. We can then treat the rest of the natural world as resources or as existing only to serve us as humans. And we can see that obviously in the ecological devastation, the time that we're living in right now. But what's a little bit less obvious is what we suffer, the cost of that disconnection, that perceived disconnection, because we're actually not disconnected. But when we perceive being disconnected from the rest of the natural world, it actually affects our spirituality. It actually affects how we image the divine, how we are in relationship with the larger story. All of that is deeply interconnected with all the plants and the trees and all the other beings, and yet we have forgotten how to listen. And so this workshop is a day-long workshop of being outside the conference center before the conference begins. Spend a full day in learning and practicing deep listening to the rest of the beings that will be surrounding us during the conference that week. And I will be sharing with you what I've learned and practices that I've developed to work with people in the relationship of spiritual direction with these other beings invited into the co-companionship. What does that look like, and how do we practice that, and what happens? You'll be surprised at the kind of breakthroughs that happen in your directees' lives and in your own life as you open up to this deeper reality that we are part of nature and that our relationship with all of these others is deeply interconnected with our own role and relationship and being in the world.